You are watching No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and these are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? I'll tell you what's driving me crazy. These continued Amy Coney Barrett hearings. Why are they necessary? As we talked about yesterday, this is a bunch of bloviating, grandstanding senators on both sides. So yesterday, they got a half an hour each. This thing was going on past 9 p.m., and I give her a lot of credit for this grueling questioning. She was sitting there all day long and then some. But now they're going on again. Why? Because all the senators get to ask follow-up questions. This is absurd. They had their chance. What can they ask beyond a half an hour of many of them repeating themselves, asking the same questions that other senators have asked, making grandstanding speeches that are all about themselves, me, 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 me. I don't know why this is continuing. It's an incredible waste of time. But as I said yesterday, the more they're wasting time, the less time they're legislating more regulations on our lives. So maybe that's a good thing. But let's look at what happened with Amy Coney Barrett. So she danced around her positions on issues, which she has to do. All of the nominees for the Supreme Court do that. When they are asked, what is your position on gay marriage, they can't say. She did say that it was accepted law. She did say that this was decided. The president has said this was decided. Sure, they talked about that when he chose to nominate her. Beyond that, the fact is that it is settled law. It's not going to come up again. Apparently, the gays got angry. Why? Because the LGBTQ, lots of letters there in that alphabet soup, that community got mad at her that she said sexual preference instead of sexual orientation. The thing being that they believe you're born that way, and others who use the term preference apparently believe you choose that. And we don't really know that. Science has not determined which way it is. There have been many studies. We don't know. But regardless of that, she did not and was not able to give her positions on issues such as abortion, such as Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and many other issues. I'll tell you why not. Because she can't. No, you will never see a Supreme Court justice who does that. Supreme Court justice nominee. You will never see it. They cannot give their personal opinions, and they cannot tell you how they are going to decide a case. And as she made clear, my personal positions on something are one thing, and how I would decide something is based on the law. She said you can't just get up one morning and say, I'm going to impose Amy's law. She said that. So she said you can't just wake up and say I'm pro-gun, I'm anti-gun, I'm pro-life, I'm anti-abortion. You cannot say I'm going to apply those positions. You have to go by the law and by precedent. She said that. I don't know what more she could say. All the liberals have said that when they were nominated to the Supreme Court. There is nothing she said that is offensive, that is different, and they aren't going to find it, which is why this is an incredible waste of time. Now, I do think that she maybe made a mistake wearing 2 red outfits 2 days in a row. Now, you say to me, Debbie, you're ridiculous. Why do you care what she was wearing? I'll tell you why. I don't care what she's wearing. You know who cares? The liberals. The liberals are looking at what she wore, 2 red outfits 2 days in a row. Rosie O'Donnell was one of these people. You know, she pretends to be a feminist and pro-women and pretends to like only women. That part I believe. But she put out a tweet saying, oh, The Handmaid's Tale. And so did many other liberals, because if you probably know this, if you've seen The Handmaid's Tale, I have not, but I know what it's about. It's a post-apocalyptic show, and the theme of the show is women are subservient to male dictators, and their only purpose is babies and so on. So they want you to think that that's what the Trump administration wants, even though we've seen no evidence of that in 4 years. They want you to think that that's what conservatives are about, even though they are not. And they want you to think that that's what Amy Coney Barrett is about. Because she wore a red outfit twice in a row? Please. Well, at least today she wore something that was more pink. You know what? It's just ridiculous to see optics that are bad in an outfit color. Come on. Red is a power color, people. It's not just a Handmaid's Tale color. And that is just how the costumer put it on a TV show. Just ridiculous. Now, for everything you need to know about the Amy Coney Barrett hearings, well, we have a classic Joe Bonix video for you because Clarence Thomas explained what happened then and what's going on now. Check this out.
Good morning, Judge. Welcome to the blinding lights. Finding out what you mean when you say that you would apply the natural law philosophy to the Constitution is, in my view, the single most important task of this committee.
Senator Biden was very focused on natural law. How did that go?
Who knows? I have no idea what he was talking about.
I just want to make sure we all know what we're talking about here, that you and I know at least what we're talking about here. There's a fervent and aggressive school of thought that wishes to see natural law further inform the Constitution than it does now, argued against by the positivists led by Judge Bork. Now, again, that may be lost on all the people. You know and I know what we're talking about.
I have to be perfectly honest with you. You sit there and you have no idea what they are talking about. All I know is that he was asking me these questions about natural law.
Someone may apply it in a way, like Moore, who leads him in a direction that is, quote, liberal. You may apply it in a way that leads you in a direction that's conservative. Or you may, like many argue, not apply it at all. But it is a fundamental question that is going to be almost impossible for non-lawyers to grasp in an exchange. But you know and I know it is a big, big deal. And in conclusion,
one of the things you do in hearings is you have to sit there and look attentively at people you know have no idea what they're talking about. And it was fine. I understood what he was trying to do. I didn't really appreciate it. Natural law was nothing more than a way of tricking me into talking about abortion, since many Catholic moral philosophers saw the two things as intimately related. But my interest in natural law was different.
See, Clarence Thomas gets it. And everything he said about Joe Biden and all of these people at the hearings, they are timeless. Those comments apply to every single one of those senators today, including the conservative Republicans, I'm sorry to say. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're just bloviating. And he sat there thinking, what the heck are you talking about, Joe Biden? Joe Biden had less idea than even these people that have no idea. So what does that tell you? And that was then when he was supposed to be lucid. That was then when he wasn't saying, you know, what's the name of that guy? You know, the Mormon senator, you know, the governor. That was Joe Biden then, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what's going on at these hearings. Just enough already. Just stop. Just vote on this thing. And then today, one of the senators, Senator Ben Sasse, who you know is a never-Trumper, he wants the president to lose. He's supposed to be a Republican, but when you listen to him, you wonder, whose side is this guy on? It sounds like he's on Joe Bonix's side. So he asked Amy Coney Barrett, can you please name the 5 freedoms associated with the First Amendment? So she named 4 of them. And she forgot one of them, the freedom of assembly, so the freedom to protest. Big deal. So she forgot one. This woman has been sitting through hours and hours and hours. Now this is the 3rd day of this. 2 of the days, she was asked about the tiniest of minutia of her decisions and dissents. And she answered everything without referring to notes a single time, without bringing notes. So she forgot one of the 5 freedoms. This is not a citizenship test. So all the liberals are up in arms about this and saying, oh, she's mediocre. She's just a regular person. She's not to the level of the Supreme Court. Just stop. Read this woman's decisions. She is scholarly. She is to that level. When we come back, I will talk to you about more Joe Biden, more Joe Bonic stuff that is driving me crazy after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together today and stand united in the fight to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Case counts are steadily on the rise in the Bismarck-Mandan metro area, so please do your part. Protect yourself and others by wearing a mask when you're not at home. During the pandemic response, scientists have determined wearing a mask is a benefit to you and to those around you. This help keeps others from getting sick and may lessen the severity of illness if you were infected with COVID-19. We're all in this together. So let's get kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep our community strong. Let's show everyone how we come together to keep Bismarck the safe, resilient community we know and love. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus. That's health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
Stand by. 4800 social services requesting additional information.
You can advise social services that we have an 18-month-old female who was in a residence with a mother, now being transported to medical care for overdose.
So I am going nuts over not only a New York Post story about Hunter Biden that is not getting traction anywhere but in the New York Post, but also the reason why it's not getting traction. And I'll tell you what the reason is. The reason is that social media, as we know, is censoring anything that isn't far left of center or far, far left of center. They have these so-called standards. They never tell you what those standards are by design because they don't have any, and they don't want to lay them out because then they'd have to apply them fairly to conservative information as they do, to liberal information as they do to conservative information. And they don't do that. Instead, they engage in censorship. And we saw that today. So today, the New York Post came out with this story. Hunter Biden emails show leveraging connections with his father to boost Burisma pay. And there are emails. Now, I will tell you why people are claiming that the sources are suspect. But Hunter Biden, his real first name is Robert. His name is Robert Hunter Biden. So these emails from Robert Biden, that's Hunter Biden, are smoking gun emails. They show that he specifically used his relationship with his father, that his father knew about all of this, and that he did it to boost his pay, and that he was involved in these trips to the Ukraine to do business with Burisma. And we all know that Burisma is the company that paid Hunter Biden millions of dollars. And that was a pittance. I think they paid him something like $50,000 or $60,000 a month. But then there are other reports that they paid him as much as possibly $180,000 a month. We don't really know the exact figure, but that is a pittance compared to the multi-millions he's getting from the Chinese communists. And you know what everybody says? Oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big thing. So there are these emails, and the emails prove that there was a quid pro quo, that Joe Biden went on these trips, that Hunter Biden went on the trips with Joe Biden, that it affected what went on in the Ukraine, how Burisma was treated, as far as the investigations. There was an attorney general there in Ukraine, and he called off investigations to Burisma. And these emails are really something, to the point that the New York Times White House correspondent, this is the chief New York Times reporter that covers President Trump and is very antagonistic to him, Maggie Haberman, she even tweeted out this story. And when she did, all hell broke loose. All the liberals attacked her. Everyone attacked her. It was as if she had done something worse than murder. I don't know what is worse. Well, I could think of a few things. And apparently she did them, because what she did was tantamount to that. Everyone was angry and yelling and screaming at her on Twitter. So she had to do repentance, and she later sent out tweets questioning the New York Post article. Well, I'll tell you what happened next. So a lot of people tweeted out this article. A lot of people posted it on their Facebook pages. It was actually one of the most popularly shared articles today on Facebook, 50,000 shares by around noon. So look at this tweet from Facebook from Andy Stone. He is in charge of this Facebook fact-checking service, alleged fact-checking service. And he said, well, I will intentionally not link to the New York Post. I want to be clear that this story is eligible to be fact-checked by Facebook's third-party fact-checking partners. In the meantime, we are reducing its distribution on our platform. Which, you know what that means? That means that if you would normally see this article in your feed because your friends have posted it on their news feed or somewhere on their Facebook page where you would see it, let's say you have your friends as, I want to see this person's posts first, you're not going to see it, because Facebook has mechanisms in there to deem stories hidden. You can't see them. They don't want you to see this information. Now, why is this unusual? You say, oh, Facebook has this fact-checking service. They do this all the time. No, no, no. They've only done this for something like 300 articles since this whole thing has existed after the 2016 elections. So that is about 100 stories a year. And usually what they do is they fact-check the story. And let me just tell you what this fact-checking service is. It's 50 media outlets. They have picked a very scant few conservative media outlets, a whole bunch of liberal media outlets dominating it. And they get to decide if a story is true or not. They get to decide if their competitor's story is true or not. And does this happen in burger restaurants? That would never, ever happen. But still enjoy these government exemptions. They cannot be sued when somebody publishes something defamatory because they're just a neutral publisher, which they aren't. They have decided to squelch this story. And I'll tell you what's worse about it and what is even more unusual. These 300-something stories that Facebook has fact-checked, well, never in the history of Facebook have they put the article, have they squelched it and silenced it and reduced its distribution, as Andy Stone said in his tweet. Never before have they done that before the article has been fact-checked. Before it's been fact-checked, they usually just let the article continue to be distributed. But they want to protect you. And by the way, when I went on my Twitter feed and I went to click on the article as I was preparing for the show because I had read the article earlier today. A lot of my friends had tweeted it out, and I tweeted it out, and I saw the whole hullabaloo about Maggie Haberman, the New York Times correspondent, and so on. And then I saw that Twitter now has put that it is a potentially harmful article, and you have to give, Twitter gives you a warning and tells you that the article could hurt you, essentially, if you read the article. Oh my God. It's like we are all so sensitive. We're made of sugar, and when it rains, we're going to melt. So, I mean, this is just absurd for Twitter when I'm trying to click on a link to the New York Post. So clearly, I want to read the article, is putting up this page that says, oh, this could be harmful. This could damage you. You know, like I'm a little kid about to see some porn or something, or torture scenes. It's just really outrageous the way they are censoring on behalf of the Biden campaign. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They are openly saying anything you have on your side, any information you have about Joe Biden and his family and the things that they have done, we don't want people to see it because we don't want him to win. That's what they're saying. They're not saying that explicitly, but we know it's pretty obvious. All right, when we come back, the threat level in North Dakota has changed, and we want you to know about it. And also, some mayors have had a press conference about wearing masks. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
Everybody needs an off-season, but our announcers have a tough time slowing down.
Incredible! For the second time today, Brent has jammed the printer.
Really tough time.
He swiftly brings it down the lane, and he carries it down the stairway. And he finishes with a slam.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
You're looking for secure private cloud storage, but who can you trust? Big tech companies don't always keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business information away from prying eyes. Your local Beck Lightband Internet Services comes with 50 gigs of Beck Cloud Backup free. Hometown service with top-tier security to keep your data truly safe and private. Get your 50 gigs free today. Call 701-475-2361 and ask about Beck Cloud Backup.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. Now, something very important happened today, this afternoon, in fact, in North Dakota, and that is that 16 counties in North Dakota, including the biggest ones, Burley and Morton and Cass, have gone from the moderate level of yellow to high risk of orange. Now, what does that mean exactly? Not really a lot. What it means is that they know that cases are going higher and things are getting worse, but it also doesn't mean any new restrictions. It just means it's suggested that people assume those new suggested restrictions. So in other words, the government isn't telling you to do more. They're telling you, but they're not requiring you. There are no criminal or civil penalties for not wearing masks, but they're just going to ask you a whole lot more to wear masks. And listen, I go back to what I've been saying on this show from day one. Yes, masks are a barrier of some sort, but do they really stop this virus from spreading? We don't really know. The reason we don't know is there have not been any long-term studies, and we won't know until there are. So that means at least 5, maybe 10 years from now, maybe even longer. They don't really know anything about this virus. And we know that in many places where there are very, very strict mask mandates, cases have gone much higher than in North Dakota. And they don't test as much per capita as they do in North Dakota, which is why we have discovered more cases. Look at Israel, where everyone has to wear a mask the minute they set foot outside their home. Look at Canada, where everybody has to wear a mask the minute they set foot outside their home. Look at California, where everyone has to wear a mask the minute they set foot outside their home, all over the streets, everywhere. Look at New York, same thing. All of these places, Europe, they all are having spikes in cases. So that goes to show you the masks are not doing anything. So we have discussed on this show before, the fact is that the micron size of the virus molecules are so small that they can go in and out of the masks, depending on what kind of mask you have. And that's the other issue I've mentioned on this show many times. There is no standardized kind of mask. We talked about how American Airlines kicked somebody off because he was wearing one of those neck gaiters, and they said that wasn't good. Pretty soon they're going to be checking each and every person's mask. You're going to be in massive long lines to go anywhere. No, we can't have it. The masks, there is not evidence they work. No, there isn't. In fact, there is the evidence to the contrary, because all of these places had the spread, regardless of the strict mask mandates. And in relation to what I just said, you have to look at what these 5 mayors, the 5 mayors of major cities in North Dakota, are saying now, and take it with a grain of salt. They're urging everybody, they wrote a letter, the 5 mayors, the mayors of West Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks, and Minot. So these mayors, I think, wait, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I say 5? I don't know. But the mayors of the cities, yeah, it's the 5 biggest cities. I think I missed one. West Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks, and Minot. I don't know. There's somebody I'm missing here. Regular Fargo. Sorry. The regular Fargo, Mayor Tim Mahoney. So 5 mayors, they signed this letter, and the letter does not cite any science. It just tells people, please, things are getting worse. We're asking you to mask up, please, please, please. But it doesn't say how and why they know, how they know, why they know, and in what way the masks will stop the spread of the virus. That's why whenever people tell you the masks stop the virus, ask them to tell you which study it was they're citing. Or what science, because we hear a lot, again, about science and data. What science and data are they referring to? To which? Because they never give it to you because there isn't any. Yes, masks are good at stopping certain illnesses, certain viruses. We know that. But we don't know if they're good at stopping this one. We have no evidence of that. And there are no studies. We also do know that when you have a mask on, they help basically spread your bacteria back into you. You know, we had a guest yesterday who said that. So, you know, Renee Leese from Another View, show that's going to be debuting on this channel. And she was absolutely right. The fact is that it keeps your air, your germs are returning into your nose and your mouth. It's not healthy. Most people, I know you're supposed to wash your masks on a regular basis. People are not washing their masks. People are wearing the same dirty, disgusting masks every day. Is that healthy? Hell no. It's not healthy. And you know, people are lazy, and I don't blame them. I'm lazy too. I don't wash my mask every day. I don't have time. And I only wear a mask because I'm required to where I live to go into businesses. Otherwise, I would not be wearing it. So we don't know that. The 5 mayors, I understand what they're trying to do. They are trying to show that they care about something, but it's, again, it's virtue signaling. It is what we call virtue signaling, which is, in case you don't know, it means that people tell you to do something or they do something that doesn't really change anything, but it makes them feel good, it makes them look good. It's branding, and it doesn't really cost them anything. I mean, these masks are not expensive, but still, this is about freedom. And you know what? The senator, North Dakota's senator, had it absolutely right. So Senator Kramer said, when he was asked by Axios about the mask, and he said, this is about freedom and states' rights. Absolutely. But at least these mayors didn't try to put in any new mandates or any new requirements. Good for them on that, but please, just enough. It's 7 months already, and we know if we're going to wear a mask or we won't. And again, there's no evidence. Tell us what the evidence is. All right, so there's that story in North Dakota. Now, on to another story that I think is super interesting and unfortunate. The renaming of schools. We've talked about this since the beginning of the show. People taking down monuments, people renaming institutions and other places because they deem the historical figure through a 2020 lens. Not the eyesight 2020, but the year 2020. They deem people who lived 500 years ago or even 100 years ago, they deem them to be racist. And that is the case with the Woodrow Wilson School in Fargo. They are going to rename the school because people said that he was racist and a bigot and not worthy of having a school named after him. And so they want it changed. It's going to be changed. The Fargo public school that is named after Woodrow Wilson, it's Woodrow Wilson High School. But pretty soon it no longer will be named that. Where is it going to stop? Are we going to change the names of blacklisting and whitelisting because black is negative and white is positive in those phrases? Are we going to do that too? I mean, it has to stop somewhere. We just can't keep doing this. We'll drive ourselves nuts. When we come back, what happened with 200 ballots? There was a mix-up, and it's something we should probably be concerned about. And I told you about the candidate who died before the election. Well, now the Attorney General has issued an opinion. We'll tell you what he said. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together to get our kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep Bismarck safe, strong, and resilient. A community task force has been launched to slow the spread of COVID-19 in our community. We're all in this together. Protect yourself and others by doing your part. Wear a mask when you're out and about, and slow the spread of COVID-19. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
I just went in for a regular mammogram and I found out that I had a little tumor.
Through the exam and the biopsy, it was determined that I had cancer.
I got a call from one of my doctors that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
After 5 years, they found a local reoccurrence.
The first thing you hear when you're told you have a cancer, it's a little daunting because you don't know where to go with it.
Since 1999, in a partnership between CHI St. Alexius Health and Sanford Health Bismarck, the Bismarck Cancer Center has provided the most advanced radiation therapies and holistic support services for cancer patients and their loved ones for 20 years.
I've been at the Bismarck Cancer Center since it started. I actually was in the basement of Med Center 1 before, when we had old machines and old equipment. And thankfully, the two hospitals at the time, St. Alexis and Med Center 1, joined forces to create the Bismarck Cancer Center.
I walk in the door, I get nothing but hugs, and I was marveled at them. I mean, I thought it was the best place in the world.
The staff is unbelievably compassionate, and they explain everything to you.
Everybody's genuinely concerned about your well-being, and the level of care is just top-notch. The Cancer Center just does such an amazing job of helping people.
To me and my family, the Cancer Center means life. It's given me the ability to live out my life with my family, my wife, my children, my grandchildren.
Because of them, I'm 2 years out. Get to move on with my life, make a difference now for other people.
I would recommend this center because the minute you walk through that door, they've got your back.
This center means so much to me and to the people that are in this building, and we just want to keep giving it back to the community and providing for them what they need.
I'm Katie. I've been cancer-free for 2 years.
I'm Steve, and I've been cancer-free for 4 years.
I've been cancer-free for 10 years.
10 years.
11 years.
15 years.
My name is Lainey, and I've been cancer-free for 18 years.
Bismarck Cancer Center, your partner against cancer for 20 years.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. Well, yesterday we told you about a whole bunch of ballots, 26,000 of them in fact. 26,000 ballots, and not all of them, but a good number of them were not actually ballots. There were envelopes sent to people with no ballots inside, even though the envelope said the ballot was inside. What happened to those ballots? We don't know. And we are asking about that because 26,000, as I said yesterday, there are states like Michigan where Trump won Michigan by just over 10,000 votes in my native state. There are other states where he came pretty close as well. And so what happens when you've got 26,000 or even any fraction thereof ballots missing? What happened to them? Why were they not in those envelopes? The other thing we asked about was why were people who did not order these ballots get them in the mail? These were people who wanted to go vote at the polls. So there's something fishy there. Well, now there's another story just like that today. There was a mix-up of some sort, and there were 200 ballots in Cass County that were dropped off at the wrong place. Now, as soon as they were discovered, the Cass County officials were notified and the problem was corrected. But still, how could that happen? Why did it happen? And if these 200 ballots were delivered to the wrong place, how do we not know that there were other ballots that weren't delivered to the wrong place? And then, once they were delivered to the wrong place, nobody said anything about it. There could be more than these 200 ballots. Yes, the Cass County officials say that this was human error. That's what they told us yesterday. There seems to be a lot of human error going on right now, right before a major election that is going to be so close. Now, is President Trump going to be biting his nails about if he's going to win North Dakota or not? No. North Dakota is a red state right now. As we said on the show previously, and as you know, North Dakota was a blue state previously. North Dakota had Democrat officials. Now it has all Republican elected officials and Republican-controlled legislature. However, the other elections may be close, and a few hundred votes, let alone just a fraction of 26,000, could decide an election. 200 votes, maybe it's more that were delivered to the wrong place at Cass County, could decide an election. So we hope that there isn't so much of this repeat of human error so close to an election with ballots. That's kind of scary, I think, anyway. And related to elections, we've told you about this story before. Dave Andal. Dave Andal was running for the legislature. He won a Republican primary this summer. He was heavily funded. Governor Burgum spent $1.8 million on a PAC whose sole purpose, essentially, at least for this election, was to defeat Jeff Delzer, the conservative, who's a good guy. And why did Governor Burgum do this? This infighting of, I'm a liberal Republican, and I can't have people who are good conservative leaders. That's wrong. If you're a billionaire and you want to buy elections throughout North Dakota, a one-man buying shop, please, that's not good for North Dakota. Jeff Delzer was popular, but you know what? Even a popular man can't fight back against a $1.8 million campaign. He can sometimes, but you know what? David doesn't always beat Goliath except in the Bible. So what happened here was Dave Andal won because he had that funding behind him. And then, sadly, he died at age 55 of COVID. That is very, very tragic. So his seat is probably going to be open. Today, we told you that this seat would result in an appointment if Andal wins, which he will win because Andal was in this very conservative Republican district. Attorney General Wayne Stenhjem said today, he issued an opinion, and he said, or it was yesterday, he issued an opinion saying that, and this was sent to the Secretary of State, that this seat, the election has to go forward. There are already something like a third of the ballots in. A number of the ballots have been mailed in through mail-in voting. A lot of people, a third of District 8 mail-in voters had already returned their ballots when he died. And so they probably voted for him, most of them. So what is going to happen is if he wins, and he will win, so I guess I should say when he wins, there's going to have to be an appointment. We already knew that that was the law, but Wayne Stenhjem was asked to give an opinion to the Secretary of State, and he made it official. Now on to some other election news, but this time on a national front. President Trump. So we all know that President Trump and Joe Biden's debate that was set to go forward was canceled. They were going to do a virtual debate. President Trump said no. Because of President Trump having COVID, it was going to be virtual. He's now negative from COVID, has tested as such on several consecutive days. Now, this week on Thursday, in fact, tomorrow night, there's going to be a town hall for Joe Biden. I think it's on ABC. Well, NBC announced today that they're going to do a town hall for President Trump. Guess when? The exact same time. The exact same time. I love this. To me, this is great because it's going to show you in the ratings who cares more about watching whom. And I guarantee you that Trump town hall is going to kill Joe Biden's town hall in the ratings. Just kill him. He is going to attract the majority of the viewers. Why? Because, first of all, he's got a tremendous enthusiasm gap. But secondly, he is more like Howard Cosell, like they used to say about him with Monday Night Football. Half the people loved him, half the people hated him. But everybody watched him to hear what he would say next. And then the next morning after Monday Night Football, Tuesday morning, everybody was at the office water cooler. In those days, we actually went to offices, and there actually were water coolers. Both things of the past because of COVID, it seems, for a lot of people. But they went to the water cooler, they got their water, they were talking amongst themselves. What did Howard Cosell say last night? Can you believe what Howard Cosell said? That's going to be the effect of this town hall. I think it's great. But you know who doesn't think it's great? Liberal Twitter. Check this out. All these people on Twitter are calling for a boycott of NBC. And it started on Twitter. I even saw Fire Savannah Guthrie hashtags because Savannah Guthrie, the Today Show anchor, is going to be hosting this because they're so mad that they're competing with Joe Biden at the same time and they feel like this is designed to hurt Joe Biden. No, Joe Biden will hurt Joe Biden. people would not watch Joe Biden. And if they did, it's only because they have to, like I have to for this show. I wouldn't want to watch Joe Biden otherwise. What, so I can see more examples of Joe-bonics? No. So it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to switch back and forth, or I'll have to tape one or something. I'll have to watch one replayed online. But I think it's exciting. I'm excited to see who does better in the ratings. And again, you know who it's going to be. Trump. Absolutely. Now, with another related story to the election, we will talk about after these messages, and it's Nancy Pelosi. You will not believe what she said to Wolf Blitzer on CNN. It's just absurd, and she is out of touch. You will see how much after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck. Featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Beautiful day to get out on the course, isn't it, Corey?
Without a doubt, Brian. And Scotty here was thinking the exact same thing.
There's a lot on the line for him today. He told his friends he's a scratch golfer, but the numbers today suggest otherwise. Ooh, swing and a miss.
Looks like he's excited to find that Titleist. Unfortunately, he was playing with Mojos.
Ooh, and a major infraction just occurred. Can we get another look at that?
As from my angle, it looks like he's got about a 10, 12-foot putt slightly.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together to get our kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep Bismarck safe, strong, and resilient. A community task force has been launched to slow the spread of COVID-19 in our community. We're all in this together. Protect yourself and others by doing your part. Wear a mask when you're out and about, and slow the spread of COVID-19. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband Internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. Now, you may have seen this, but probably you didn't because few people watch CNN anymore. It's become a joke. They should probably change the C to a B for Biden News Network. And the other day, I believe it was yesterday, Nancy Pelosi was on with Wolf Blitzer. And you got to watch this video. They were arguing about, well, just watch.
Really need the money right now, and even members of your own.
That, but
but even members of your own caucus, even members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal. $1.8 trillion. Congressman Ro Khanna, for example. Well, let me just quote Ro Khanna, a man you know well. I assume you admire him. He's a Democrat, and he just said this. He said, "People in need can't wait until February. $1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus. Make a deal, put the ball in McConnell court. So what do you say to Rokon?
What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist, and many of your colleagues apologists for the Republican position. Rokana, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February. I want this very much now, because people need help now.
Apologists for Republicans? I would call Wolf Blitzer many things. Apologists for Islamic terrorists, apologists for extreme liberals, apologists for AOC, apologists for everything that's wrong with America and the world, but apologists for Republicans? What is she smoking? That is the one thing you would never, ever accuse Wolf Blitzer of being. Ever. Never. No, you know what? A broken clock is right twice a day. Wolf Blitzer was right once in, like, I think a millennium. Just now on that interview where he showed the tweet of a Democrat Congressman, Ro Khanna, saying people need the money now. And as he pointed out, Nancy Pelosi wants to wait till February. Why? Because she wants President Trump to look bad. She wants people to hurt while they're voting. She wants people to hurt until Joe Biden is in office if he wins the election, God forbid. That's why she's doing this. Because she knows that what she is asking for, these trillions of dollars, that's why President Trump has cut her off and cut off these stimulus talks so many times. That's why the Senate refuses to take up what she is proposing. It is laden with so much waste, so much lard, you would think you were on a mega mansion pig farm. It is horrible. That's why it's not getting passed. She does not care about the people. So it's kind of funny for her to argue with Wolf Blitzer about which one of these two elitists are down with the struggle of the working class American people who are suffering, and even the middle class American people who are suffering. It's just hilarious, because who do they think they're fooling? It's absurd. Just absurd. Now, another person that's absurd, remember Jussie Smollett? Well, he's back, number 5,632, because he seems to keep resurfacing a lot more than somebody should be or would be if they had the amount of shame they should have for paying off two black men to go in whiteface and impersonate Trump Republicans with MAGA hats, allegedly trying to mock hang him with the fake noose around his neck. He did this. We know that. He got caught in many lies. The two men admitted to it. They told police what happened. He paid them both over $3,000. He knows he did it. He still won't admit it. He's still holier than thou. He's still smug and arrogant about it. It's just outrageous. And the reason it's so outrageous is he got away with it. Yes, he's still being prosecuted, sort of. Nothing's going to happen to this guy. He's like the Teflon criminal, the Teflon race and hate crime hoaxer. So he's back. He's making his directorial debut amid this whole thing because he has no shame. He's got a movie coming out. It's going to debut this week at a film festival. So that's what he's up to. Not embarrassed at all. Jussie Smollett, hate crime hoaxer, won't admit it, not embarrassed, no shame. That's America now. The only thing you have to be ashamed of is being a conservative, having good family values, being supportive of America, proud of this country. Those are all the things you need to be ashamed of. Everything else that you used to be ashamed of, and you should have been ashamed of, and still should be, no longer. Nope. Those are sources of pride. Also a source of shame that should be is these BYU students. Yes, Brigham Young University, but not the one in Salt Lake City. This is the Idaho branch. A bunch of students are trying to get COVID. Why? Because they get paid $200 per sample for each COVID-infected sample of plasma they donate. I don't like this policy at all. This is absurd. This is irresponsible. They're the ones encouraging, this lab is the one encouraging these students to do this by having this policy. And these students are morons. You know what? as I always say, a college degree doesn't mean anything anymore. It's worthless. And I say that as somebody with 3 degrees, 2 graduate degrees and an undergrad degree. It's worthless. And these kids are demonstrating that because they're idiots and they're going to get degrees. And you know what they're experts in? Keg parties and being stupid like this. Getting COVID so you can donate plasma. That's why we have spikes in cases, because of idiots like this. It's not because of responsible people like us who don't want to wear a mask and value our freedom. Now, Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas who ran for president, he's done something really, really cool. Jim Carrey did something he thought was cool. As we all know, Jim Carrey is impersonating Joe Biden now on Saturday Night Live. But as you may not know, Jim Carrey is a crazy. He is one of these crazy Trump derangement syndrome infectees. If you look at his tweets, he's just crazy. He hates us all. If you are conservative, you are the devil. And he thinks Ted Cruz is the devil. He makes this crazy artwork. Check this out. All right, so he made this painting of Ted Cruz, and he tweeted it out saying, Ted Cruz Hellbound Class of 2020. So, Ted Cruz, I got to give him a lot of credit. He's a good sport. He's got a great sense of humor. Look at what his response was. Hey, Jim Carrey, can I get a copy of this for my office? Now, I don't know if Jim Carrey has responded yet. I think it's just great. I think Ted Cruz bested him. Ted Cruz basically body slammed him. He KO'd him. And finally, there is Netflix. So the Netflix CEO, we talked about cuties. It is basically the victimization of girls. It's the sexualization of young girls, pretending to be a morality lesson when it is no such thing. It is eye candy bait for child molesters. But the CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, is standing by it, saying it's misunderstood. Well, you know what? Texas, Ted Cruz's state, says no, and they're criminally prosecuting the makers of this movie. And remember, things are not always as they seem. See you tomorrow.